You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? How do you make a movie about a conversation between a cabbie and his fare? Pretty well, actually. Amber and Scott discuss Daddio as Sean Penn gets to be a dime store therapist on a drive across New York City. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
You find yourself in the unique position.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
What would you do?
How do you want to handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
Dad is home! I had to, I know none of y'all live in our household, so you are not privy to our inside jokes, but let me tell you, that's one of them.
Yeah, and that is perfectly in sync with this week's episode.
Daddio.
Daddio. A young woman jumps into the backseat of a yellow cab. The cabbie throws the vehicle into drive as the two head out into the night toward Manhattan, striking up the most unexpected conversation, resulting in a single epic, remarkable journey.
Did you not like this movie?
I didn't think it was a single epic, remarkable journey.
Oh, you just didn't like the description.
Yeah, I didn't like the description. I wasn't totally crazy about the film. There was something that happened kind of as a resolution of something that happened in the car that we can get into as we discuss this film. So basically, this woman gets into a cab at JFK, and they have a long ride to Manhattan, and they have some construction issues, so they spend long in the cab. And it's just a conversation. The whole movie takes place in a cab between Sean Penn and Dakota Johnson.
Well, it's interesting. So, as you know, I have spent some time behind the wheel of an Uber and a Lyft. I've had a number of passengers, and it is interesting because you run across a lot of people, and you will get people that will talk to you about things that they might not generally talk to people about, like in general, because it's the whole
I won't see you again.
I won't see you again. So you kind of become a low budget, you get what you pay for psychiatrist, therapist type person.
Well, that's why people unload at the neighborhood bar and talk to the bartender.
Yeah.
Bartender has all the secrets. So the woman, which we only know as Girly, she doesn't have a name. He just occasionally calls her Girly. So she's Girly, and the cab driver is Clark. And so we learn throughout this conversation that basically Girly is having an affair with a married man. And she had gotten pregnant, and she went to go visit her older sister in another state, and she was coming back from that trip. That's when she got into the cab at the airport, and she had had a miscarriage while there. And before she left, she told the married man that she loved him, and he kind of seemed uncomfortable with it. And we learn around that same time that basically this gal has daddy issues. She was pulled away from her dad at a young age, who never showed any sort of affection. She has some sort of imagined memory of him shaking her hand as when she left when she was very young. And her daddy issues have now migrated into her relationship with this married man, who she also calls Daddy.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You and I have a dad is home funny thing, but the thing
it's not funny more now. It's creepy after that film. It's freaking creepy.
But here's the thing, and I know I'm probably disclosing too much information, but I'm just simply going to state that of us, one of us is older, the other one is younger, and I am the younger one. So because of that, because I'm actually technically your junior, I feel like that's not as weird. But in this movie, when the guy that she's dating, that she said, is old enough that he could be her father, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, and in the cab, when she's having the conversations with Clark, she's also simultaneously having provocative texting exchanges with the guy who shows a dick pic to her via text, who wants her to put her phone under her dress, between her legs to take a picture, and all the just gross stuff that basically guys do on Tinder.
And that's the thing, really? I mean, you're dick picking someone you're already hitting on the side. I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay, guys, listen. This goes out to every male listening to this, okay? Chicks don't like dick pics. Don't send them. You think you're accomplishing one thing, you are not. You might even think from her response that you're accomplishing something. You are not. She is tolerating it. Like, she might really like you if she says something nice, but you did not win points when you hit send with your dick in her text messages. Don't do it.
Thank you. That is a valuable public service announcement for everybody. So as we see this text exchange between her and Daddy, like, I'm just so repulsed by this guy. And then finally, as the movie evolves and she has more exchanges with Clark, and she's off and on texting with the guy. And then all of a sudden we see the human side of the guy, like, oh.
Well, the more sober side, it seems.
Yeah, like he has to put to sleep one of his boys. He has twin boys, and one of them woke up. So now he's trying to help his son get back to sleep and slay the monster so he can get to sleep. So now we're supposed to feel like, oh, gee, he's a good guy, he's a good dad, and I'm supposed to forget of the creepy, gross guy that we saw early in the film. And then her thing is talking to Clark of how she said, "I love you" to Daddy, and Daddy didn't say it back. So they kind of have a couple of text exchange about this. And then after Daddy says, "I have to go and help my son slay some dragons," he says, "I love you." And I felt like we were supposed to be like, oh,
that
he
felt
said,
so,
"I love you."
That felt so forced.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mentioned sober versus drunk. Let me be clear here. When you see somebody act the way they do when they are drunk, this is not a different person.
It's how they want to be.
It is either their normal personality amplified, or it is the side of their personality that they typically hide and now don't have inhibitions, so they don't hide it. And
Praise be, I would agree.
yeah, you know what? I actually think that it might be a good idea. And mind you, I'm not going to make this a male versus female thing. I think before two people get married, there should be a scenario, two scenarios. One, and mind you, well, whatever. We're in a heterosexual relationship. I make references to heterosexual relationships. If your relationship is other, just modify these pronouns here, or the names. One where the guy is sober and the girl gets pretty damn drunk, and one where the girl is sober and the guy gets pretty damn drunk. So
any partnership this applies to.
Yeah, exactly. That way, you, sober, have a chance to see who your partner is uninhibited drunk. Now, I am not saying this is a first or a second date activity. This is not, though for a lot of people that actually might be.
For a first date.
I mean, I'm just saying it's probably a good idea. This is funny. I say it's probably not a good idea to marry someone if you haven't seen them drunk, right? You kind of seen their real personality. That said, I don't know that I've ever actually seen you drunk.
Yeah, I'm not really a sloppy drunk kind of person, but
yeah.
But I really agree with you wholeheartedly in regards to how people act when they're inebriated. That it is definitely a mirror of what the day-to-day inhibition is holding in. So if you're a prankster, you're probably more of a prankster when you're drunk. If you're a creepy guy who wants to grab a girl's head and stick it in your crotch, you're probably going to do that when you're drunk.
Yep. So I think it will tell you a lot about. Now, again, you do have to remember that this is something amplified.
Sure.
So.
And I'm sure there's an exception to the rule here and there, but overall, I would absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, I mean.
And that's why I didn't like this film, and when I kind of number one, I didn't like the description of the film, but number two, I didn't like the way they handled this topic. And I didn't like feeling like I was supposed to be all happy that he said, "I love you" back. I felt like it was made to be like a win, like, oh, that's great. She gets.
I didn't see it that way.
You didn't?
I saw it as being very forced. And I feel like she even recognized that, yeah, she said it, he said it because she prompted him basically to say it.
I would like to think that she was smart enough to realize the situation, but she was someone that was we guessed maybe around 30 or whatever. Smart gal, was a coder and found herself involved with this guy with 2 kids and a wife. And
I'm going to say that she was primarily based on the fact that this was a female scriptwriter. So if it were a male scriptwriter, I would say the opposite. Yeah,
And listen, we all make bad relationship decisions. I don't care who you are, what your age is, what your background is. We have all made bad decisions, and I'm certainly not meaning to be judgmental in this fact. And also, too, it's a film, so I mean, no harm, no foul. I'm not hurting Dakota Johnson's feelings, but I just didn't like the way the topic was handled. And also, too, she called him Daddy, not Daddio. So what the heck does Daddio mean?
Yeah. I thought that was so kind of dumb.
That's reason enough.
Yeah, and there's the whole what would you do based on like you meet a married person, you're not, like what do you do? Let me tell you. So there are definitely conventional norms involving relationships and the way they should go. Like if you're married to someone, don't fuck around on them.
And some people have an understanding that it's okay to fuck around.
Yeah, I actually know of one specific scenario, and I mean this is someone where everyone involved in this story is now dead. So, but it was a guy and a girl who they were married, and the guy had someone on the side. Mm-hmm. And I don't, and ended up like she was a 30-year side piece.
Wow.
But here's the thing. I don't know when the wife found out or how the wife found out, but the wife's like opinion was good.
You'll take care of the things I don't want to do.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
So
relationships are complicated. Sometimes people have their reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, too, that was something, we used to see in TV and movies a lot once upon a time of women knowing that their husband had something on the side and accepting it because back, several decades ago, women didn't really have jobs. They didn't have a way to support themselves. And if their marriage fell apart, they had nowhere to go. So they just tolerated knowing that, I'm smiling and I'm putting a happy face and we're going to our family picnic, knowing that when the husband says, I got to go back into work, that he's really going to go see, his mistress.
Well, okay, so more story time with Scott. I have another friend.
Are they also dead?
No.
Okay.
These people are not dead. So we're not naming names. But I have another friend who is not a citizen of the U.S., or at least at the time was not a citizen of the U.S. And her husband was a citizen of the U.S. And it was not a green card marriage, but definitely the green card was a massive, massive bonus in this. And he was screwing around on her. And she knew he was screwing around on her. And she didn't so much like it, but she did outwardly tolerate it because I guess she felt like it didn't hurt her so much. And I just remember her telling me a story about a time when her and her husband got into this fight. And I don't remember all the details, but she specifically told him, if you want to F around on me, you can, fine, just don't do it with this one person. Don't do it with them.
Was that one person the one he was already with?
I think he was a little bit of a busy boy. I think he had a few. And then he promptly went and effed around with that person, which is...
Oh, yikes.
Well, it's kind of what led to their divorce. And luckily for her, she has found an infinitely better guy at this point and is in a much, much, much better relationship than she was there. So
well, good. I'm
sometimes
happy
you have
for
to
her.
go through some shit to find your right person. But yeah, you're right. Like relationships are really, really weird about what people are accepting, and there's accepting and just what they're okay with. Like some people are like, I don't care. I don't want to involve the sex part of it. I want him for other things. If
I guess the bottom line is just don't hurt people.
Yeah, but it does. Like,
and when and people can sometimes go in with the best of intentions of, this is casual, or, love isn't part of it, or, this is always going to be at this kind of relationship and will never escalate. But for some reason, and I know I've said this on some other episode about women thinking they can change men.
Yeah, no.
You cannot change them. Stop thinking, if I stay long enough, they'll feel differently. I had a boyfriend once. I don't have kids. And who thought if he stayed with me long enough, I would change my mind. And I was really clear, like, no, I'm not going to change my mind. This is who I am. And sometimes people think if they wait it out long enough, they can either win you over or make you think differently or force you into doing something.
Well, and that's the point I was going to make, too. It's not just women trying to change men. It can be men trying to change women, too.
Yeah.
It's just more in a woman's nature to...
They're helpers. They think they can help.
Exactly. So, I mean, a guy is less likely to do that and kind of knows he's going to have to take that woman at face value because he's probably just not getting put in the type of work necessary to try to change her.
Yeah, it's work because people generally don't want to change. They're happy the way they are. So if you're going to think you're going to change somebody, you better be in for a lot of effort.
Yeah, but let's be honest here, too. When you start dealing with someone who's having an affair, like, you can't exactly trust them to be honest with you about what their situation. I mean,
that is true.
Sometimes, I mean, again, depending on the relationship, maybe they can be. But I think if you took a survey of 100 people, you would find that the vast majority, in a scenario like that, the vast majority of them were dealing with lies.
Yeah.
So,
and women, you deserve better. You deserve all the good things. Don't ever settle for anyone that not only makes you feel less than, but you're in a situation where you just can't win.
And you know what? Here's the thing. You get old enough, if you run across somebody, like, especially if it's a casual encounter, a dating site's maybe a little different, maybe, even though there are plenty of married men on dating sites. But especially if you have a casual encounter with someone that results in something moving forward, there's about 1 billion places to do backgrounds on these people and get an idea. You could probably figure out if they're married.
Yeah.
And you might save yourself a hell of a lot of heartache later if you just, run one of those little searches just to see. I mean, like...
And it's hard because so often people do have information, but they don't want to believe it. And they explain it away, or they say, oh, he's married, but he doesn't love her, or he's married and he said he's going to leave her. Like, people believe the things they want to believe.
Yeah, and that, again, that's the thing. People are who they are. I mean, I have dated a married woman before in a couple of occasions, but I also knew a lot more about the situation and what exactly was going on. And in both of those situations, one was a divorce in process, and the other one was a divorce that did happen shortly after. Like, there was...
So there was some separation.
Yeah, there was separation. Like, it wasn't...
And that's different. That's a whole other...
like they're still with their wife or their husband or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a better situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not great, but yeah.
So basically the word daddy is extra creepy to me now.
Dad is home.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.